Hello, bonjour. My name is Louise Chapdelaine and I'm here with my husband Jerry Boucher, who's behind the camera, on behalf of the St.Patrick Society of Richmond and Vicinity and of the Irish Heritage Festival of Richmond. On vous souhaite bienvenue à notre présentation sur la confection du pain irlandais au soda. You may think that Irish soda bread is as old as St. Patrick, but you'd be wrong. It only appeared in Irish kitchens around the 1830s when baking soda became available. Le soda ou le bicarbonate de soude était peu dispendieux, avait une longue durée de vie et ce qui le rendait idéal pour les familles plus démunies. Aussi, il permettait de faire un pain éclair. Irish soda bread is a quick bread. The baking soda and sour milk or buttermilk like we use today act as rising agents. The version I am making today would have been for company or special events because it has raisins in it, which would have made it more of a cake. Bon, allons-y. Alors, on commence. Tout d'abord, préchauffez votre four à 325 degrés. Once your oven is at 325 degrees, you'll be able to put your bread in. So, we start with 3 cups of all-purpose flour, in which we add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So that goes in here, along with 1/3 cup of sugar. So mix that all in with a whisk so it's equally distributed throughout. On ajoute ensuite dans les ingrédients secs 1 tasse de raisin. I prefer sultanas, but you use whatever your family likes. So mix that in there. I also like to make sure that they're all covered with flour so that it doesn't, go down to the bottom of your batter. It is evenly distributed in your bread. The recipe also calls for 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds. Puisque monsieur, mon mari, n'est pas vraiment friand du carvi, moi j'en mets un petit peu moins. Par contre, je le mets dans un mortier comme ça pour rehausser la saveur. I don't turn it to powder. I just squish it a little bit so that makes sure that the seeds all release their aroma. That goes in there. Mix all of that together throughout. And now we go to the wet ingredients, which are 2 cups of buttermilk. Try to make it out a little bit of time out of the fridge along with the eggs so they get to be room temperature. Donc, à notre 2 tasses de babeur, on ajoute un œuf légèrement battu. Voilà, on va mélanger tout ça comme ça, légèrement, juste pour dire que c'est bien. On met ça à l'intérieur. Et voilà. On mélange tout ça et puis we dump it all at once in the dry ingredients. Here you go. Dry ingredients. I use a spatula because I find that it's better at picking up all the flour from around the bowl, but you use what you think is best. On fait juste mélanger pour bien humecter la pâte. On ne veut pas que ça soit trop battu pour laisser le soda et le babeur faire leur œuvre. Alors, on mélange sans trop éclabousser. There we go, getting it all in slowly. There, go to the bottom, make sure you pick up every scrap of flour that you have. There we go. Now we add 1/4 cup of melted butter that has cooled a little bit. On rajoute à ceci 1/4 de tasse de beurre fondu qu'on a laissé refroidir un tout petit peu. The butter will help to give it a nice golden crust. There we go. It's an easy recipe, and the fun part, of course, is that it's bread that doesn't need to sit. You don't need to knead it, you don't need to wait for it to rise. It's done very quickly, so it's also good for last-minute company. There, now all beautifully mixed in. We put it in our 9 by 5 buttered loaf pan. It has to be a 9 by 5. Don't do like I did and use an 8 by 4 because you'll have a mess. So, n'oubliez pas, ça prend un moule de 9 par 5, non un 8 par 4, un 9 par 5 et il faut qu'il soit bien graissé. Tout ça, ça va dans le moule. Oh. Comme ça. On l'étend comme faux parce que c'est quand même une pâte assez pesante. Make sure that you do spread it evenly because it's a bit of a heavy batter. And there you go. This is what it looks like. Now, with the magic of television, here is one that we had prepared just ahead of time to show you what it looks like. So it rises beautifully. Comme on peut voir, le soda et le baba font bien leur job de faire lever le pain. On a un beau pain bien doré avec du raisin réparti partout. C'est un pain que vous pouvez préparer la veille because the longer that you let it sit, like for 8 hours or a whole day, the more the flavors will marry and it will be very nice bread. You can serve it within the few days after you made it, or you can freeze it and keep it for a few months. Alors voilà, c'était notre démonstration de comment faire un pain irlandais au soda. And we, on behalf of my husband Jerry and myself, we wish you a happy St. Patrick's. Thanks.